Everybody, it's David. I'm in the process of grading your Module 2 discussion boards and your Module 2 assignments. And I've noticed that some of you are having some challenges, and some of you actually spoken about this, with finding peer-reviewed articles and actually using the CSU online library. So what I wanted to do was to give you an example for the upcoming Module 3 assignment on how I would approach this particular question, and then how I would go to the CSU online library to find some academic peer-reviewed sources. And so the first thing I always do whenever I read an assignment or discussion board is I get to the heart of the question. And so on this written assignment, you see Chapter 7 provides a four-test method for evaluating arguments. Provide an in-depth analysis of this method, and it talks a little bit about that. So what you're really going to be doing this week is focusing on how do you effectively evaluate an argument. Now, the textbook gives you a four-test method of doing that. And I'm going to the lecture here, by the way. The lectures each week are a great place to get a synthesis of the particular chapter. The four tests for evaluating arguments, as presented by Facione and Gittins, will be truthfulness of the premise. Does the premise have logical strength? Is it relevant? And then is it non-circular in its arguments? And so those are the four tests. And so keep those in mind, because those may be things that you can use when you go to the CSU online library. Now, the way that you find the CSU online library, you can go to the Charleston Southern website, which is csuniv.edu. Under the Academics tab, you go down to the L. Mendel Rivers Library, and there you will find a screen that hopefully looks familiar to you, because I use it in the CSU online library tutorial that I have in the announcements. If you haven't seen that video yet, you need to watch it. And then you can click on Advanced Search Options down here, and you will get to an ability to sign into the screen. So I'm just going to show you, since I've already signed into the screen for this one, the way that I would approach this. So we're talking about arguments, and we're talking about evaluation methods. So I'm going to start with a pretty narrow choice here. And so I want something that deals with arguments, something that deals with evaluation methods. If it happens that I don't get a whole lot of responses back from that, then I can actually make my terms broader, or I can make those more narrow. And so after I clicked on those, I did argument, I did evaluation method, I hit search, and it gave me these options. It actually gave me 3,933 options. And so the next thing that I do is I just began to scroll down these to see if there are any that seems to fit with what the question being asked and what my research proposal would be for that particular assignment. And so as I begin to scroll down here, this one could have an option here, a new method for reanalyzing evaluation bias. Oh, here's a really good one. You look at this one, strategic use of multiple text for the evaluation of arguments. Oh, that one seems like it hits spot on with what we're looking for. So the next thing I would do is I would click on this PDF full text. And that will bring up this particular research article, and I would be able to take a look. The first thing that I normally do, I normally look at the abstract or the first paragraph to see if there are items in there that make sense to me. And so I look at the first statement they make down here. In academic discourse, students are often required to realize that every text is open to dispute and not to blindly accept what is written in the text. Oh my gosh, that is exactly what we're talking about in this particular topic. And so all of a sudden, you have one source here that potentially could be used for your research this week. So you can skim it, you can go through some of the different components of it. Most of these peer-reviewed articles sometimes are 20, 30, 40 pages long. And so I normally look at the abstract, I look at what they are proposing, some of the results, and then you get to the end and they will give you conclusions and then general discussions at the end for follow-up. So that's where sometimes the application can really be useful. And if you want to back up, go back out here, you can find some additional ones. And so I just wanted to give you an idea of how I would approach this. Again, the key things, you got to find the key things. The key things this week: arguments, evaluation methods, and do the search in the CSU online library for that. Okay, I hope this helped a bit. I'll try and do these again as we go down the pathway, but I would encourage you to make sure that you do this. Remember, again, the use of Google is not for graduate research. Google is a search engine. It's not a research engine. All right, take care. Hope this helps.